Hey all my friends out there in YouTube land, this is Prof Sales coming at you with a video. And today's video is about a relatively new subject for me, and that is sourcing drugstores. So many of you may know that drugstores often have great markdowns as well as sales that can provide you with opportunities to find great items at a great price and also in quantity. So yesterday I set out to source the local Walgreens chains here in my area of the country, and I hit 7 stores. It took me about 3.5 hours total time and realized a net profit of over $200. So I was really happy with that. Most of the time that I spent was actually drive time. These stores weren't that far apart, but just getting around town and traffic and so on. So I thought I would share with you my strategy for sourcing drugstores, and maybe you can use some of these tips to help you. I have 4 tips for you for sourcing drugstores. The first tip is to map out the stores in your area. What I like to do is just type in the name of the store, and you can do this with any store, not just drugstores, and find a map, Google Maps, what have you, and see all the stores in your area. You're going to know your area pretty well. So you're going to be able to figure out how easily you're going to be able to navigate from one store to the next, depending on traffic, road conditions, weather, what have you, just drive times. That's important because that leads us right into the second tip, which is to plan your route. If you don't plan your route, you're not going to be as efficient when you're sourcing. And remember, in this business, time is money. So every moment you spend driving is not a moment you are making any money. So it's important to plan out your route, tie that in with the map of where the stores are, and that way you will be able to effectively go from store to store, across your area, and hopefully complete a loop back to your home or your office or wherever it is you're going to be listing all these items. And just kind of think about that, like think about the map, think about the route, think about how long it's really going to take you. There's actually some websites out there that provides you with the ability to go in and plan a route between separate stops and show you the most efficient way. So that's the first 2 steps. The third one I want to do at all times is when I go into a store, I want to look for quantity buys. Now, what do I mean by that? If you go into a store and you only find one item, that's fine, but it's a lot better if you can find an item in quantity because that's going to maximize your time. So let me give you an example. Maybe you scan an item and you realize that after sending it in and the fees, let's say it's an FBA item, that you're only going to make $1.50 on this item. You might not pick that item up. On the other hand, if there's 7 of them sitting right there, well, that's $10.50 profit. Doesn't take you any more time to go find those other 6 items. You found the one, you get the other 6. There's $10.50. Throw in your cart, out you go. Which reminds me that you need to be efficient in these stores. You really shouldn't be spending a lot of time in a drugstore unless you're engaged in, say, health and beauty. Health and beauty provides a lot of opportunities for you to find items that are in those particular categories that are buy one get ones or marked down. But if you are just engaged in the normal categories of, say, electronics and toys and things like that, you really don't want to be in that store more than maybe 10 minutes. I recommend going to the media sections where they keep things like disc and flash drives, things of that nature. And the store will probably have a separate clearance section somewhere where they will just have random items they've marked down. So that brings me to the 4th point, which is always ask for additional items. If you go and you find a really great item and there's only one, there's nothing wrong with asking the manager or a store employee if there's more in the back. Sometimes there is. They just haven't gotten a chance to stock it. Think about a clearance section. Most stores are not going to stock clearance sections as often or as rapidly as they will their full price sections. It makes sense from a margin standpoint. They're going to do it, but they're not going to do it on as regular of a basis as they will their normal, regular priced items. So it's important to always ask if they have any more items in the back. It only takes a moment, and if they see that you're buying several items, then usually they're more than welcome to go back and get them. They just want to get rid of them. And that reminds me of one last point. You always want to check the pricing on these items when you get rung up at the cash register. Yesterday I got some items that did not ring up the correct price. It seems like this happened at every store. You need to go in and check the price when you see what the price is on the item, but as they're ringing up, watch the cashier screen, make sure that it's ringing the correct price. There was one particular item, it was a phone, actually, not a prepaid phone, but like a phone that you would activate. They could have overrode the price for me. The problem is that to do that, it would not allow the phone to be activated. So on the back end, my customer would get a phone that could not be activated, and obviously that was no good for me. It was a shame too. It was a nice item. I would have made about $15 profit on it, and there was 2 of them. So I actually gave up $30 in profit, but I didn't want to take the risk that one of my customers would get a phone and then realize they couldn't activate it because it had not been rung up properly. So I went ahead and passed on that. So always check your pricing as well. Drugstores provide you a really good opportunity to get a lot of product and to do it in a minimal geographic area, because in most metropolitan areas you're going to find just tons of drugstores all over the place. Some are better than others. Walgreens tends to be pretty good because they have aggressive markdowns. But even there, from store to store, I would see an item marked down in one store and not marked down at all in the next. So you've really got to watch your pricing. You can't just assume that it's the same price. Make sure it actually is stickered. And then of course make sure that it is going to come up that price at the cash register so that you can fully realize your full profit potential. So that's how I go about sourcing drugstores. It was a pretty short video. I'm going to continue to be doing this on a regular basis. I like to even think about going to clusters. I have a fairly large metro area, so I can go to one area of the city and hit 6 or 7 stores there, and go to another area and hit 6 or 7 there. I will probably do that on a rotating basis so that way I don't, keep going back to the same stores over and over that are not really going to be refilled with saleable items from me. But I'm pretty happy with my results so far, and I hope that this video was helpful for you in figuring out some ways that you can source drugstores just to add a little bit more to that bottom line. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button down below. It really helps me out in terms of my channel and so on, and lets me know that I'm doing a good job. And also leave me a comment. I try to answer all of them, and if you have a question or an idea for another video, I am more than welcome to hear it. And as always, consider hitting the subscribe button, and that way you will get all these videos when they come out, and you won't have to go searching for your Prof Sales fix every week. It will come straight to your email inbox and you'll be able to connect there. So as always, this is Prof Sales saying good sales to you.